junior at Withrow High School. His opponent today, Jeff Gross, averaging 156, age 16 years old, Norwood High School, a match with a lot of local color.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Youth King of TV Bowling. I'm Thom Brennaman here in Stones Lanes, as Dave mentioned, right here in Norwood. This is my first opportunity to be with you, and hopefully a couple of people along with us that'll make things run smoothly. Bo Hudipole and David Newrath. Bo, these two bowlers very familiar with Stones Lanes.
They certainly are. They bowl their league play here, and they also bowl for Stones Lanes on the Travel League.
David, two fine young competitors this morning.
Both players are well schooled. They stay underneath the ball. They're playing the lanes with a lot of savvy that these averages normally wouldn't have. I'm anxious to get on with it, and I think we're going to see a good match.
All righty, we'll go to it next, coming right up on the Youth TV King of Bowling.
Welcome to Youth King of TV Bowling, brought to you by Larosas. If you like pizza, you'll love Larosas. And by Pepsi, the choice of a new generation.
Welcome back to Stones Lanes right here in Norwood. Thom Brennaman along with Bo Hudipole and Dave Newrath. Dave, we said it off the top, two fine competitors.
Both players not indicative of the averages that are on the sheets. We should see a good match, and that's the way to open a good match, Tommy.
Not a bad way at all to start it off this morning for young Brian Wright. And now it's going to be Jeff Gross.
Bo, the Stones Lanes has quite a junior program, if I'm not mistaken.
They sure do. They have a very large program that's developing some nice scratch bowlers coming out. But we also have the limited distance for the kids on, like rug on the lane. It shortens the lane, and they can bowl league play.
Well, right off the top, two strikes. Mr. Gross following the stage set by Brian Wright. And David, these two bowlers, a little bit of difference in their averages.
Quite a bit of difference in their averages, but again, if we're going to watch these two players, for young players, they are excellent. They rotate the ball. They don't try to overhook it. If anybody might be guilty of that, it's this man. But with time, he'll change that big arc down to a little cleaner roll. But I'll tell you what, I don't think we're going to have any 156s and 160s today.
You know, in practice, it looked like they were very, very nervous, and the lights came on, and they've sort of changed.
Well, I'll let you in on something, Bo. I was down there, and I made sure both players were right in front of me when I said this. They were continually going wide, as you were pointing out. And I made them aware of the lane condition and what adjustment to make. Now, I'm not taking any credit at all for what they're doing. You have to execute, but in the younger players, a lot of time, you just haven't played in enough particular or different centers to know what adjustments to make when your ball's consistently sliding out.
Well, Dave, we talked about it at the top that both of these guys bowl right here at Stones Lanes. Does that make a difference for them?
Well, of course it will, Tom. They're comfortable here, first of all. They may not be overly familiar with the lane condition, but it's surely not going to hurt. But just the fact that you're in your own house and there's going to be a few of your friends there, it really helps.
Well, you know, you take a look at both of these guys and really come from quite different backgrounds in terms of bowling. Jeff Gross doesn't have anybody in his family that bowls. And on the other side of the coin, Brian Wright, his mother's a certified coach, has a brother that's in adult leagues and a younger brother that's in adult leagues, as well as two sisters.
He would have the background. Unbelievable. What a shot. Tom, let's take a look at it here. Maybe we can get his reaction to this also. This ball is going to drive. Here you see a little bit more of a bent elbow than you want, but a great pendulum arm swing following through. Now watch the ball. It's going to cut through so sharply. 1, then the 3. Look at it, just missing the 9 pin. Not even missing it, touching it, but incredibly bad break. But the consolation is he was in the pocket.
Dave, it looked like that was not going to kind of break back in. Looked like he was almost going to miss it.
Well, you got to trust the ball. I'd much sooner see when I was coaching youngsters over at Super Bowl. We would teach them if you're going to miss right. Young man on TV wants to say hi, Mom. That's an original quote, isn't it?
Sure is.
Going wide, leaving the 1, 2, 8 on that particular shot, Tommy. Now that's caused by a complete error in delivery, obviously. Got to the line a little sideways. His elbow flew out. Thumb dropped down. There you see it. The 1-2-8 with the sleeper in the back.
Bo, we've got some qualifying going on today.
We sure do. We are at Coleraine Bowl, and I wanted to remind everybody that we do not have a 4:30 shift today, so if you want to make your reservations, call as soon as possible.
Dead on target for that one. You know, David went back to saying hi to Mom. Why don't they ever say hi to Dad?
I don't know. Hi, Dad. Just make sure we cover that. The score will show us that this match is incredibly close. 2 pins. The handicap system is working. 2 pins, the advantage of Mr. Wright.
Move into frame number 4.
I may want to explain again the handicap procedure for the TV show. Brian Wright, 153 average. Jeff Gross, 166. 13 pins is the difference between the two averages. We take 80% of that, which is 10 pins, and that's where Brian Wright's handicap came in.
Things are awfully close right now. And Dave, you look like you threw that ball very well.
He was in the area. A little bit too much deflection. Now, as the match builds, the younger people especially are going to have a tendency to want to bowl a little faster, throw the ball a little harder. And then you complicate. Great pickup for the 10-pin. Way to go, Jeff. Their tempo is going to want to increase, and then you add the difference of the lanes, because the lanes do change through the telecast. You've got a changing situation, and you better be able to adapt to it.
Now Brian Wright, looking at his end of the 4th frame in a very close match.
A good shot by Brian there, Tom. Let's take a look at it here. Let's get his release first. Absolutely perfect delivery. Watch his hand. He kind of figure eights, but then he gets back underneath the ball right there, cleanly up through it with the fingers. This ball's going to head pin to the wall, but no need, nothing to knock down. It was a clean strike.
Boy, he looked like he knew that was dead on target when he let it go.
Well, you develop a feel. At the release point, you can, perfection again, you can tell when the ball's going to be close.
We'll take a break. We'll be back from Stones Lanes here in Norwood on the Youth King of TV Bowling. Stay with us. Back to Stones Lanes right here in Norwood. Channel 5 WLWT. Glad to be along with you. David Newrath, Bo Hudipole, and yours truly, Thom Brennaman. And one whale of a match going on right now, David.
The home of the Peacock. Wouldn't have anything else, Tommy. These boys are good. They're showing us what they can really do. Great shot. Oh, that ball started hooking very early on him. Not like the other shots, Tommy.
David, you said that did it look like a good shot coming out as soon as the release, you mentioned that.
Yeah, the release looked very good from this angle. I don't know if he was trying to swing the ball more than he was, but he left a 310.
How about that?
Well, we want to welcome you. We're glad to have you.
Well, thank you very much. Glad to be here.
That's for sure.
Okay, now let's try to. I thought he threw a good shot and he went high. He allowed, obviously, to make the spare, the 310, and he missed it by a mile. Now, what I think has just developed right in the track area is a little early hook, which will be great. As soon as he plays it, it'll give him a little extra pin action on the back end, but he's got to figure out what he did wrong on the lane as far as positioning his feet.
Don't you think practice and experience helps them to make that adjustment faster, though?
You bet, Bo. You bet. That was an excellent shot there. Let's take a look at it here on the replay. He recoups from a disastrous frame with a super shot. Look at that. Right at the foul line, coming around the ball. No deflection on this shot. Not today. 10 in the pit. Every pin doing its job, Tommy.
Boy, he really regrouped there. Now, Bo, the qualifying has come to an end for the Youth King, and we've got the finals next week.
That's correct. What's going to happen is we will have the finals at Coleraine Bowl next Saturday morning at 10 a.m., and I'd like to tell you who's going to be bowling in the finals, but I think David may want to show a replay here if we can.
Well, we would if we could, and I'll tell you what, we'll do it on lane 17.
Okay.
We'll let Brian go a replay right here.
All right. Well, how about if I read some names? Because, you know, you've seen 2 youth bowlers on the show for the last 5 weeks, including this week. But the top 5 scores each week qualified to go into the finals. some of the names very quickly. David Abner, Shannon Butane, Diane Burris, Dan Cantrell, Billy Carlton, Robert Dashley. I'll touch on a few later.
This was an excellent. We said a replay. By George, we've got it. Brian must have heard us right over the 10th board. Watch this ball. No deflection. 1-3 pocket, perfectly taking the 5 straight back. That's the way you do it.
The new wrath factor back intact for week number 5.
I love it. I'm on a roll.
All righty, now Jeff Gross.
Same lane. Look at that. He got a fantastic break. He got away with a shot there's no way he should have gotten away with. But what it's done is kind of keep him in the match. Let's take a look at the score. You can see right here the deficit as we talk is 37 pins in the 5th frame. Halfway through this match, Brian Wright, 37 pins advantage.
You know, something that may add to his experience today on the lanes and being able to adjust. He bowls about 30 practice games a week. That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games.
Getting a break. Going a little off target on that. Now, I was talking to both boys before the match, and they both recently made a couple of changes in their game. So we may see from time to time an errant shot, and all that comes from is not practicing the change often enough to make it a common practice. The 2-pin, almost missing it.
But he knocks it down. Now, you know, Bo, a few more of those names who are going to be in the finals.
Yeah, we do
week.
have a lot of them. There's a total of 25. So to continue with our finalists, we have Chris Doan, Nick Fox, Bobby Gray, Jeff Gross, Richard Harness, John Hempstead, Brian Himmler. Brian Himmler is one heck of a bowler, isn't he, David?
He's a fantastic shooter, and the fact that we watched Brian cross over right there for a strike. He's a fantastic shooter, and it just, to get on this show, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, anybody that you see on here has walked through fire to get here.
Including David Newrath.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I haven't walked through enough flames in the last year or two to get on, but we're looking for it. These players are good. I'm looking forward to the finals, and hopefully I'll be in it. Not a good shot, going exceptionally high, leaving the 6-pin.
You know, we also have an interesting situation developing right now. We have an award for our high scratch game on the telecast. And Brian Wright has the opportunity to win a week's paid tuition to the Professional Bowlers Camp in Columbus, Ohio this summer. At this time, Robert Dashley, who I mentioned a few minutes ago, has high scratch game of 219.
He knocked it down right there, and he's taking a big sigh of relief. I think it looked like when he let it go, he wasn't real sure, David.
No, he wasn't real sure, and it did almost took away from him. But, Tommy, the situation is this. If Jeff wants to be our king for this, the final week of the youth, he has got his only job right now is to think about 4 more deliveries, and they all have to be strikes.
Something we might want to mention, too, about Jeff Gross. Hey, not only is this guy a good bowler, he is a baseball. Hopefully for the Houston Astros farm system coming up. He'll be leaving his in March, Bo. He's leaving.
Well, this farm system here can use some work. I tell you, he went high the last 2 shots. What a perfect delivery. 1-3 pocket, fills it up when he's got to have them. Jeff has just made probably the strongest shot of the match. As you can see there, he is 47 pins down. The only chance he could possibly have is just to take it to the wall and hope Brian falls down. But he's got to have them all. The match is over.
Very quickly, if I could just finish a few more of these names, because we do have some more children. I shouldn't say children. These guys are 12 to 18 years old. They're children to me. Deanna Hoskins, Jim Hoskins, brother and sister combination there. Rich Jones, Bill Masser, Doug Moore, Neil Perani, Jamie Pratt, Jason Scott, Jason Sebastian, Darla Sharp, Shay Wisman, Ryan Wright.
Takes care of the spare right there. And you know, David, for both of these guys, neither one has bowled on TV before. They both seem, you know, hey, they've done this a few times just by looking at them. Take a look at Brian right there.
Brian's thinking about one thing. The party's over for Jeff, but I tell you, look at it. He's bowled 50 pins over his average, and he's gotten beat against that man right there that you saw sitting on the bench, contemplating taking down the high game of the year so far. Really doesn't mean anything.
But a fine performance nonetheless for Jeff Gross. And David, he can't walk away from this match disappointed with those kind of numbers he ran up today.
Not at all. Not at all. We can take a look at the score. 199 is a great way to finish. Brian Wright, if he finishes out, will give us a 258 game.
We might
wide. Oh, no. Oh, no. You don't see this too often. It's not a good shot. The match is over. He's won anyway. But this ball breaks so sharply on the back end. Watch it. It's going to take the 3-pin straight back and just narrowly miss the head pin by ½ an inch and the 6-pin, leaving the 1, 2, 4, 6, 10, a 5-pin count on a shot that was no more than 1 inch away from being a strike.
A game of inches indeed.
We have to remember on Brian's game, 4 high scratch game on the show. We have to deduct the 10-pin handicap from the score that's shown on the board today to determine if he is the high.
Well, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with the finals of the Youth King of TV Bowling. Stick around.
Welcome back to the Youth King of TV Bowling, Brian Wright. Fantastic day today, 221. And Dave Newrath, I think you've got some hardware to hand out to this gentleman.
Tommy, that's right. I've got a beautiful clock trophy to put on the wall. That's so Brian won't be late to shoot any of those big numbers that he's got. And the ball shop presents this to him. And that's located right here in Stones Lanes. 2 other awards to follow, Brian. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Couple of nice ones indeed. A $200 scholarship for you, Brian, and also a spot in the professional bowlers camp coming up in Columbus. I guess you got to be awfully happy about today.
Yeah, I'm very proud. I'll be thrilled to go.
All right, that's all from the Youth King of Bowling, Brian Wright, super job, 221. Stick around next for the Hudipole King of Bowling.
Youth King of TV Bowling has been brought to you by Pepsi, the choice of a new generation, and by Larosas. If you like pizza, you'll love Larosas.